alhamdulillah, the nun-to-be has 9 children, and my daughter now
Like
is...
when they see a Muslim woman in hijab, they say, okay, Islam oppresses the woman, subjugates her. You as somebody who now is imitating Maryam, the mother of Jesus, what do you say to those people?
I feel so proud of wearing this hijab. And
The Deen Show.
This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Maria Clairzabant,
yes.
whose mother was actually a nun, and she was in the institution, church institution for nuns, and then she met her husband, had her daughter who's here, raised her Roman Catholic. She's wearing a hijab. We're in the middle of the story. Please continue on.
Okay, and when my dad, so they were living here in Chicago. We were living here in Chicago, and my mom became sick. So she...
So your mom raised you Roman Catholic?
Roman Catholic.
Because she was a nun?
She was a nun, but then because she got out of the conventry without her wishes, so she tried to, whatever she didn't get with me, with herself, she tried to push it on to me so that I would become a nun after her. And I was going to church. She baptized me in Paraguay. I took my first communion and all that. And I was trying to be my best as a Roman Catholic. And my first language was Spanish. Second one was English, and then third was Arabic. So she became ill, and nobody was here to help her. And my dad was in Palestine, so they sent me to Palestine as a 9-year-old child by myself on the airplane, and I went over there until she got cured a little bit here. Then she went back to Palestine. So, and then they tried to put me in a school. No school would accept me because I didn't know Arabic. And then they put me in one of the schools accepted me, and I had to go. I was supposed to go to 3rd grade, and they put me in 1st grade. And then I kind of passed all the grades 1, 2, and 3. And I went to a different school later on. So I didn't go to Islamic classes. I was always popping out with the Christian girls. And then one of the time, in the middle of the year, we get our report cards. So what happened was the principal, the school principal, was always telling me the story. She would sit down outside the class and she would tell me, okay, so let me tell you about the story of Jesus. So she started telling me all the time, as a 9, 10-year-old, I was 10 at the time. So she was always telling me about the story of Jesus, peace be upon him, and Sidna Maryam and all that. And then I was like, she says, you don't have to be Muslim, but just think about it and stuff. So when as a young child, I went home, and then I sat alone in a room, in a balcony, and I started saying, now it's like kind of istikhara when I realize it. But as a young child, I was like, oh God, show me a sign. Show me a sign. Is the Christianity the true religion or what? Show me a sign. I just wanted to see. I was looking at the trees outside. Just saw me like a thunder or a bird coming or a mouse or something, I just wanted a sign to know if this is the right religion. I got no sign. So I said, okay, how about the Christianity or the Muslim? I did it twice. And I didn't get any signs. I said, when I went to school the next few days, I started saying, well, I can just try and go into the Islamic classes. So I started going to Islamic classes, and my heart was at ease. I loved it. And slowly by slowly, I didn't say I wanted to become Muslim or something, no. But my dad, okay, at that point, it's like, oh, this is nice. But my dad used to try to encourage me. He didn't try to force now my dad's side. He didn't try to enforce me. I lived in Jerusalem at that time. He didn't try to force Islam onto me, but he used to always kind of show off in front of the men and his friends and family. What does a Muslim say? I say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah, and then I would spit on the other side. It's like I didn't mean it. And I didn't, how I felt when I was a non-Muslim. I didn't get this feeling from my mom, but the Christian Arab girls taught me this. It's like every time we hear adhan, I would close my ears. It's like, oh my goodness.
So that's the Muslim call to prayer. The
Yeah.
God is the greatest. God is the greatest.
Yeah.
There's no God, no
It's
deity
no-
worthy
no,
of
it's
worship
no-
except the Creator
yeah.
Allah. So you would hear the adhan.
And I would hear that, then I
Yeah.
would close my ears, like, what is this? Why do we have to disturb all this, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't like that at all. But as I became a Muslim, I started hearing it, and it started coming to my heart, and it's like, oh, look, it does look, it seems nice. She didn't wear hijab at that time. She didn't wear hijab or anything like that, and I just felt comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got married, and I came here, and I lived in America, and alhamdulillah, the nun-to-be has 9 children, and my daughter now is Aisha Wazwaz. She's a doctor in Islamic studies, and she has some Gems of Light Academy that she teaches Islam for women and lectures and everything. Alhamdulillah.
What advice do you have for other Christians, Catholics, other people who are struggling, like with the Trinity and some of the other things to make it fit here? And you know, Islam is very clear on that, the purpose of life, the worship of the Creator, not the creation. But there's a lot of stigma attached to Islam with all the negative hype. What advice do you have for people out there?
Yeah, my advice is do not take Islam from the people, because we have good and bad in every kind of people. Read Islam, read the Quran, and do not just think about it that, okay, what the media says or what everybody else says, or if you see a bad Muslim somewhere, because we all have our good and our bad in us. And my advice is read and learn. And this is why now I'm trying, because I feel that I've seen the light of Islam. And my mom died as a non-Muslim, but I brought her the Quran, and we tried so hard with her. But we even used to take her to church to sell Holy Sepulchre, because we live near to Holy Sepulchre. But she didn't revert to Islam. But just read and learn about Islam.
What advice do you have for people out there who feel like when they see a Muslim woman in hijab, they say, okay, Islam oppresses the woman, you know, subjugates her. You as somebody who now is imitating Maryam, the mother of Jesus, what do you say to those people?
I feel so proud of wearing this hijab, and I wore this hijab when I was 12 years old. Actually, when I went to Palestine, I learned how to get this hijab, and it feels. Let me tell you, the feeling. I feel, because I went to American schools, and I was very much. People didn't like it, so they would take out my scarf. I was the only Muslim with the hijab in my district, in Robbinsdale district. Was the only Muslim, but I was so much harassed with my hijab because I had it on. They would call me names of everything. They would call you think about it, you name it, they'll call me those names. This is how I feel. When I walk with my hijab, I walk with my head up high, and I'm confident that Allah is going to save me and protect me. Alhamdulillah. It's so nice.